So I know this one is going to upset a few people, but coaching is out of date and it needs an upgrade. Most coaching models are based on a 17th century misunderstanding. So Descartes, the famous philosopher, taught the medical profession that mind and body are separate. Yeah, and soul is something completely different again. This mind and body being separate became called Cartesian dualism. So Descartes, Cartesian, dualism, two, separate. The problem we have is that they're not. Modern medical science is finally kind of catching up on this, something that ancient wisdoms and philosophies have known for thousands of years. When you think a thought, your body feels it. When your body has a biochemical reaction or an imbalance, your thoughts change. Okay, there are techniques I can do to prove this to you if you're a skeptic, but because I want to keep this short, we're going to leave those for another day. You cannot separate out the thinking mind and the nervous system. Partly because the nervous system is actually driven by the brain. And you can't kind of chop the brain up. You don't get to pick and choose which bits are making the decisions. So most coaching is working with the thinking mind. And a lot of therapy as well, like CBT and psychodynamic type therapies, are working with the thinking mind, missing out the fact that the primal part of the brain, with things like the amygdala, is actually what's running the show in the body. And if the body doesn't feel safe, it will stop the mind from taking an action that is maybe something the thinking mind actually wants you to do. So one of the things that's happened with this Cartesian dualism in coaching, it's great when you're kind of with a client who just needs the grow model, who's just needs clarity on their goals, who needs to be able to look at what their reality is, look at their options, and have the willpower and accountability to be able to take action. That split then is absolutely fine. But if it's something that's a bit deeper, particularly if there's an identity level block, I don't see myself as the kind of person that does that, then you need to go beyond the Cartesian dualism. This Cartesian dualism is what means coaching is stuck so often at that mindset and thinking and cognitive level, as is a lot of therapy. It's about analyzing, it's about understanding. But here's the thing, with the information overload people experience now, compared to just 20 or 30 years ago, we're already far too good at overthinking. We're already far too good at analysing, at second guessing, at what-ifing. And actually what's really driving the show is the nervous system. If the body and the nervous system don't feel safe, the thinking mind is going to struggle to take those actions and make those changes. So one of the things that we really, really need to do to update coaching is we need to get rid of the whole Cartesian dualism, treating the thinking mind, that prefrontal cortex, as running the show when it really isn't. And we need to work in ways that don't create conflict between thoughts and body. Any decision, any action has to feel safe in the body, not just to the rational thinking mind, because our fears are often not rational. They're what I call mind story fears, but the body experiences them exactly the same way as it would what I call legitimate fears, which a real physical saber-toothed tiger is there in front of you. So coaching needs an upgrade. It needs to realize you can't just deal with mindset. You can't just deal with the thinking mind, because it's actually the primal brain and the body's nervous system that are making your client's biggest decisions. So that is my hypothesis. The coaching industry needs an upgrade, but this needs to be done with adequate training, with safeguarding, making sure we don't end up as accidental therapists, knowing that if you're working with the nervous system, you need to know how to do it safely and effectively so you don't re-trigger suppressed trauma. But body and mind are so interlinked that you cannot coach one without coaching the other, without setting the client up for internal conflict, future problems, self-sabotage, and potentially not getting the results that they want. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Does the coaching industry need an upgrade? And how can we make sure that people are really moving into mastery in ways that are safe rather than just picking up techniques from TikTok?